It was meant to be a light-hearted moment. Just a silly comment among friends at our weekend dinner. The room was filled with laughter, clinking glasses, and the scent of roasted chicken drifting from the kitchen. 6 of us sat around the table. Me, my husband Daniel, our closest friends Sarah and Mike, and a couple Daniel knew from work. Everything felt warm and relaxed, the kind of night that made you feel thankful. Then I made a mistake. I don't even remember how the topic started. Something about old relationships and funny memories. Trying to keep the laughter going, I joked. My ex used to bring me flowers every Friday. Daniel thinks pizza once a month is romantic. Chuckled. Everyone laughed lightly, except Daniel. I assumed he was just staying calm like he always did. But the smile on his face didn't reach his eyes. He poured himself another drink and barely spoke the rest of the night. I ignored it, thinking he'd get over it or I'd explain it was just a joke. I hadn't meant anything by it. It was one of those careless things we say without realizing. After the guests left and the door shut behind them, I turned to him. "You were quiet tonight. Everything okay?" He looked at me like I was someone he didn't recognize. "Is that really how you feel?" he asked. He didn't sound angry, just tired, like something inside him had snapped. I tried to joke again. "It was just a silly comment, Daniel. Don't take it so seriously." He shook his head slowly, like he had already made up his mind. "You turned me into a joke in front of people I barely know. You compared me to someone else. That wasn't funny. It was the truth hiding behind humor." Panic hit me. "You're making this a bigger deal than it is." It was just one sentence. But he was already walking upstairs, his back turned. The conversation was over. I had no words left. The next morning, the bed beside me was empty. The closet doors were open, and half his things were missing. On the kitchen table was a short note. "I've been ignoring the signs for a while. But last night I finally heard you." I stood frozen, reading the note again and again. I called him but he didn't pick up. I messaged him, begging for a chance to talk to fix things. But days passed in silence. Sarah stopped by to check on me and I told her everything. She said, maybe the joke was small, but it hit something big he'd been holding in. That stayed with me. Had I made him feel unseen for a long time? The truth is, I had. Daniel was steady, quiet, never asking for attention. I mistook his silence for not caring, when maybe he was carrying the weight of things I never noticed. Weeks went by, and I still hadn't heard from him. I even visited his office, but his assistant told me he had requested a transfer. He was gone not just from our home but from our life. I replayed that dinner moment over and over. If I could undo it, I would. I would have chosen kindness over a joke. But words are like arrows, you can't take them back. Friends tried to comfort me, saying, if one comment ended it, maybe it was already falling apart. But I knew better. It wasn't just the words I said. It was all the ways I failed to make him feel valued. Now I live alone in a quiet apartment. No more gatherings, no more shared mornings. Just silence, and the memory of how I lost him. Not to someone else but to a careless sentence that told him everything he needed to know.